Oh my gosh, here we are just going gab, gab, gab. It's
Hi,
fun.
everybody.
Because we have
Welcome.
people here that a person here we haven't seen for, how long has it been? Months.
Sean is in the house.
Oh.
Yay.
Well, no, I saw you in July. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So it's so
Ooh,
great.
just-
And we're going to start out a little bit differently. And as usual, people don't know what I'm going to say. Don't worry, sometimes I don't either. So we've got this whole get together here. And, you know, this has been an incredible week. There's been so much going on politically. There's been so much going on weather. And people are all complaining. And folks, I haven't found a single time that a complaint brings about change. So if you want change, get in and work for the candidate that you want to see win, and decide that the weather's going to do what the weather's going to do. Yeah, your complaining has never changed the rain. So, that's a good song. Don't change. It never changed the rain.
Coming soon to a Zoom call near you.
So, and that one of the things that I really want to talk about is the fact that Sean Imler is in the house, and he is one of these.
Okay.
What do you call yourself, a practicing shaman, or what is it exactly you call yourself, Sean?
I often just don't even refer to it as shamanism because my affiliation is more with the Native American community, and they do not recognize shamanism. That's actually a Siberian term. And they just don't really want to have anything to do with that term. So I usually just say, I work with spirits.
Good.
I'm in the spirit contact. That's what I help people do. That's what I do myself. And all those other anthropological terms, just, it's kind of, So anyway, yeah. So I don't really call myself anything, but that's what I do.
That's what you do. That's who you are, not necessarily what you call yourself.
Right.
Yeah, great. And Sean, as many of you know, besides being this wonderful spiritual person, works with the indigenous people. He's a good-looking man, and he's got a gorgeous voice, and he plays a guitar. I mean, what more could you ask for? And especially to accompany.
Riches?
Yeah, well, riches.
I don't have those.
But he's also going to be accompanying our wonderful, beautiful Reverend Janet Child. So we've got quite a duo here this morning. And I didn't know all this was going to be happening, great psychic that I am. So I didn't prepare. All of a sudden we just had this duo appear here. So it's great. What I want you to do is just follow along with the service today, because it's going to be very eclectic, and we really appreciate that we have all these spiritual people, but bringing in different ideas, different energies of what spirituality is. Because the topic is going to be getting to know or how to talk to your spirit guides. So we're going to be talking a lot about spirits. So does anybody have any announcements they'd like to make today? Sean, are you available?
Marie and Luann wish a beautiful morning to all, and to all a happy Sunday.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Same right back at you.
Yeah. Yes. What is this that you have, Jen?
I would just like to say that Eileen Jong
Uh-huh.
did an amazing presentation
Yeah.
for our speaker series, and I just want to offer to you, when we're going to be putting it up this week on the UCM website, check it out. Our beautiful Reverend Corky, was facilitator because I had to be out of town on an emergency, and it was fantastic.
Good.
So I just want to thank our wonderful West Coast Eileen.
And West Coast Eileen does do a great talk, and
Yes.
she's so excited about what she does. The
Yes.
Qigong and the things that she does, body work is amazing.
It is incredible.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
And Sean, do you have? Could you tell anybody what it is you do if they're interested in getting in touch with you?
So I do a combination of coaching and hypnotherapy and astrology and energy healing work and past life regression work. I do have something I'm putting together right now that begins on the new moon in October. I will be doing monthly new moon ceremonies, and this is part of a greater group called Building Sacred Life, and they'll be year-long participants that will be engaging in-person group coaching and participating in the new moon ceremonies. What I do during those new moon ceremonies is I read people's transits on their natal chart to determine what is the most effective timing in what area of their life to engage in something, and then to follow the moon cycles every month until those things come to fruition. So that is something I'll be starting on October 2nd, and the greater program involves quarterly workshops and in-person coaching one-on-one, as well as group coaching to help you in an endeavor. And I'm looking at that and in terms of the domain in which you're looking to focus on in your life, and that could be career, relationships, family, health, spirituality. So that all begins in a couple weeks.
Okay, now could people email you, or could they get in touch with you?
You could go to livingasacredlife.com. That's probably the best place, or you could go to bluebearhealing.com.
Livingasacredlife.com.
Mhm.
Good. That sounds wonderful. So then they can get in touch with you,
Mhm.
and then next time you're up here, you could have clients waiting for you.
Right, and that I'm up here monthly, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And we're lucky enough to have him for the weekend. I like that.
Joan
Thank you
has
so
an
much.
announcement.
What for?
Joan has an announcement.
Yes, Joan.
Joan, speak it. Joan, where are you? Oh, there you are.
She's not coming through.
Oh, wait. We've got to figure out why you're not coming in.
I hear her on the meeting, but.
Do I need to do anything with this computer? I can.
No.
Okay, Joan has a money wonderful class that she's going to be doing in October. And if you want to know more about it, look at the CCL Insights that go out weekly. And if somebody that isn't getting the CCL Insights, what do they do, Corky?
They email me.
Yeah, they email Corky.
ccl.corky@gmail.com. ccl.corky, C-O-R-K-Y, @gmail.com.
And she'll be able to tell you what's going on with CCL. And sometimes we have jokes, and sometimes we have interesting little tidbits, and we'd love to have you join if you don't already. It'd be nice to have you do that. Okay. Well, since we have you two really talented people, do you think you could start us off with a meditation? And Janet and
You're going to be doing music.
and it's open. It's potpourri. Any
It's
meditation
potpourri.
you want to do,
I
it's fine
love
with me.
Wonderful. Well, we just invite you all to take a nice deep breath. And just to let go of the week. We just want you to let go of the week. You know, let go of any burdens, any heaviness, any concerns that you might have. We often refer to it as letting go of the backpack. And the backpack is all of the cares and worries, all of the moments that perhaps you're concerned about. Maybe concerns about things that are out of your control. You know, just allow yourself to be in this moment with it and just let go of that backpack. And this also represents all of the past losses and griefs you may have gone through. We're just going to let it go today so that we are lighter and we are more free and we are in this moment together, in this present moment. So as you let go of the backpack, feel the lightness in your body. Feel the freedom to just be you. Just be you. A shining light, full of energy to give to yourself and to the world. So if you can imagine that you are like a tree, and if you've ever looked at trees, they are beautifully present. In many traditions, they are called standing people because they stand in their own power, in their own gentleness, and in their own ability to flow with the winds of change. And so imagine your roots going down deep into the earth. And as your roots descend and move deeper and deeper into that grounding, you know that while you can be light and flowing, you can also be grounded and true to the source of your energy. You are a part of this world. You are present in this world now. And your particular energy is exactly what we need. So feel the strength and the healing flowing up through the beautiful earth, up through your feet, the soles of your feet, your legs, your knees, your torso, your chest and your back, your arms and your hands, your shoulders and your neck. Just feel that wonderful grounding energy flowing up through every cell of your body. And it just feels so good to be connected to our earth. We are grounded in that constant state of loving wholeness. And just feel it radiating out. And now, experience the spiritual energies that love you, that are maybe from different parts of our universe. And they are flowing down that infinite guidance of wonderfulness and goodness, flowing down through your crown chakra, through the top of your head, and flowing down throughout your body. And it just feels so good. Your face, your eyes, your neck, your ears, your nose, your throat, the back of your head. And as it flows down through your chest to your heart, just feel it mixing in an infinity wave with the energy from the earth. And it meets at your heart, at the center of your being. And just let it flow. And whatever symbols, whatever colors you have that represent that for you, feel it mixing. The earth energy coming up, spirit energy coming down, gathering together in your wonderful energy, your unique and powerful energy. It is your gift to the world, and it is your gift to yourself, to feel it, to embody it fully, to know that you are the gift we have been waiting for. You are that gift. And feel the love like a river, like an ocean, like the wind, flowing through you, like the spark of the fire of your spirit, and the beauty of your grounded presence as you connect with that greater power. Just allow yourself to be in whatever place gives you that most comfort. It might be the ocean, it might be by a river, it might be in a meadow or on the mountaintop, it might be in the desert, the buttes and the cliffs. Wherever it is, just allow yourself to be there, totally at one. Totally at one, giving and receiving that infinite energy of love. I am flowing, I am growing, I am right
Sean, could you now put on another hat for us? And could we just open up the circle?
Sure.
You got it.
So, I'm gonna sing a Lakota direction song, whenever I do ceremony, do a ceremony with a lot of people. So whether I'm doing ceremony with just myself and I'm leading something, or if I'm being the singer for somebody else leading ceremony, this is a song that we usually start with because it calls in the 6 directions. So it's going to be 6 verses. We'll go to the west, then the north, then the east, and then the south, sunrise. Then we go to Father Sky and Mother Earth. So if you can follow in those directions. And what we're saying in the song is actually, Grandfather is sitting there, pray to him for each of the 4 directions, and then honor Father Sky, honor Mother Earth. So. We'll Tonka Sheila Hetoa, hey young kid, hey, Shekia, Hetoa, hey young kid, hey, Wazia Dakia, hey, Toma, hey, Tonka Sheila Hetoa, hey young kid, hey, Shekia, Hetoa, hey young kid, hey, we okay apata, hey, Toma, hey, Netonka Sheila, Hetoa, hey young kid, hey, Shekia, Hetoa, hey young kid, hey. Ito Hagata Hetoma Heyo Netonka Sheila Hetoa Hey young kilo Hey Shekia Heyo Hetoa Hey young kilo Hey Wakantankia Hetoa Heyo Wakantanka Hechia Hey young kilo Hey Shekia heyo, hetoa, hey young kilo, hey, Makatakia hetoa, heyo, Makarita hechia, hey young kilo, hey, Shekia heyo, Anachopta, hey young kilo, hey, my relations.
So it is.
Yeah, and how many of you could feel that? Just
Raise your hand.
feel it, yes. Isn't it amazing? I have no idea what the words are, but that feeling comes through. It just vibrates your entire body. And I love that because it makes you feel alive, which is such a great gift when you can open up people's hearts with music and sound. And that's what I'm talking about today, is spirit, and getting in touch with spirit, with our wonderful Janet, who got in touch with that spirit with music and energy, and then with Sean, which brings in our ancestors. I don't know about most of you, but I know that part of my ancestry is with the indigenous people. And so it awakens you, and it's a wonderful feeling, Sean. Thank you so much for doing that. That was great. Aho. And now, does aho mean thank you or blessings, or what does aho mean?
It's kind of an acknowledgement. It's kind of like it's saying I'm here in the present with you.
Aho. I like that. You could be it like aho or aho. What a wonderful word. I love that. Thank you for teaching us that.
Yeah.
That is great. Did anybody, this is a great thing about Zoom. Anyone say anything at how that made them feel? Anybody want to say something?
It made me
Yes.
feel like I wanted to dance.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
My little
Okay.
feet were just moving.
Yeah. Annie, did you have something to say? Oh, we can't hear anybody.
She's there. She just did herself.
Okay.
Can
We can't hear.
you hear it on there?
No.
No,
Wait a minute.
Is the unmuted?
We're gonna try and
No.
get some sound here.
Come on. Okay, now start talking, Annie. Yeah.
No.
And this is unmuted and the volume's up?
No. I didn't know I
Okay.
was allowed to unmute.
Well, I guess it's not gonna be interactive today.
Oh, is the
There.
There we
Now try again. Speak, Annie.
She is.
She is speaking.
Oh, I still can't get you. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
I love her. I love what she's doing.
the TV's not on mute?
No.
No, because we can hear on Zoom.
See, I have it tuned up.
Okay.
And then I have this turned up.
Okay,
And
wait,
somebody-
try
is
one
it-
more time.
Yeah,
we
there
go.
it is.
Yay!
There it is.
Yay!
Hey,
Yeah.
So,
you can hear me now?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi!
Good to see you.
The Reverend Ann, all the way from Oregon.
Hi, Ann.
Hey, hi. So what I wrote was, it was so spirit-filled and loving. I felt it very deeply. I'm, all music, but, Sean, when you sing, the vibration of your voice with the drum just really touches me very deeply. So thank you so much for that.
And somebody else had their hand up? Who's that up the top there? Okay. Well, thank you so much
That
for
was
sharing.
Joan had her hand up.
And Joan, you had your hand up, and now we can hear you.
If you unmute yourself.
You have to unmute.
Unmute.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so in October, thank you for letting me speak, first of all. Hi, Sean, love your music, love your drumming, love that you're here. I'm doing my Money Sense class in October a little differently, and that I'm going to offer one class at a time for $26, rather than the 4 classes for $83. Reduced from $125. The 4 classes are setting a goal and setting a savings plan to reach the goal, eliminating debt, what are ETFs and mutual funds, and then buying individual stocks, the pluses and minuses, the benefits and dangers. If you're in, it's all going to be on Zoom on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. If you're interested, please let me know. And if you have a particular class that you want to take, the first person that signs up gets to pick the first class, because I'll do them in any order. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Well, anyone else want to say something?
It was wonderful.
It was great, Sean, and thank you so much. The two of you blend so well.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
my
like
brother
that.
right here.
Yeah, and
It's my brother.
it's been
It brought
great.
back a lot of memories, actually.
It is, right? Me too. My
Are
heart
there
was
any
filled.
birthdays in the
It's been a
house?
while.
Yeah.
Joyce has got her hand up.
Joyce, when's your birthday? Is it today?
No, she's a Gemini.
Yeah, she's a
Okay, now
Gemini.
we can't hear you.
Joyce is a Gemini.
Got it.
She's talking. Joyce, I don't know what's happening.
Can you hear her on Zoom? Let's see what you got here, because I'm seeing it.
No? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's up
Well,
there.
we're seeing your lovely face, Joyce. We see a little bit of
Oh, I
Patty too,
see.
and
Hang on a sec. Oh,
Okay.
This is weird.
Okay, so
There he is.
There
There
she
she is.
is.
There you are.
ta-da! I wanted to say that while when Janet and Sean were doing their music together, I saw a gathering. I was looking out my living room window, and I could see this gathering of assorted beings moving and dancing to these songs.
Assorted beings is an interesting
It was an
description.
amazing experience. It wasn't, well, they like floating in the air, but it was in a country setting. It was beautiful. And they did this incredible dance, and I just wanted to let you know
that I was over here having a moment.
Hey, well, we're here having moments. So anytime anybody wants to drop by the house on a Sunday morning, we'd love to have you. Parking is difficult. So I realize put on your hiking boots, but we'd love to see you if you get a chance to drop by. It's kind of a nice place to be on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much for sharing, Joyce.
Songbird says my Virgo birthday is Tuesday the 17th.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thank you,
Happy
Songbird.
birthday.
Okay, well, let's do a little bit more. This
is
your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Yay!
Thank you, Songbird.
Yes, thank you. It was nice having you aboard. Well, today I'm going to talk about getting in touch with spirit guides. And one of the things I found, because I started doing more research, spirit guides or guardian angels have been around since we started recording history. They're mentioned in so many different spiritual pieces of literature, whether it's in the Quran or whether it's in the Bhagavad Gita, even they talk about spirit in the Bible. There are so many times that they talk about spirit or angelic beings coming through people. Well, each one of you has a spirit guide. And the reason being, since my spirit guide Ma, and you've all heard about Mahalalel, my guide, he says that the Creator wouldn't have put us on earth all by ourselves. Meaning each one of you has a guide connected with you. Now, if you haven't gotten in touch with it, it's still there. It's kind of like air. How many times do you see air? If you're living outside in LA, you usually don't see the air, okay? But you know it's there because you can feel it. And that's the same way with your spirit. That spirit is there helping you. And sometimes when I'm doing the reading, they say, well, what's my spirit doing? And Ma shows me a picture of this beautiful being sitting on a rock just waiting patiently for somebody to say hi. And for you to say, I would like to get in touch with you. And getting in touch with your spirit guide is what our wonderful Sean was helping us with. When he was doing the 6 stanzas, each one was opening up part of you. So it wasn't just your heart chakra, but I know a lot of yours were hit when he was chanting. It's your whole body. All of your chakras are opening up. Now, have you ever seen a chakra?
Mm-hmm.
But you know they're there. If you have, great. But if you haven't, know they're there. You don't have to see them to believe them. And that's the same way with spirit guides. So for some people who say, I have seen my guide, but I was 5 years old or 8 years old. Children see things all the time. And so often adults say, well, that's silly, or that's stupid, or you're crazy. I was lucky to be raised by people who, when I came in and said, this man appeared in my playhouse, and he was dressed all in white and had a bandage on his head, my grandmother said, well, and what was his name? And I said, I'm going to have to ask. And so the next time this gentleman appeared in my playhouse, which was really a packing crate, I would say, what's your name? He'd say, blah, 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 blah. And I say, what do I call you? And he said, you can call me Ma. And it wasn't until I got a lot older, because I was only 5 and a half at that time, that I found out his name was Mahalalel. Well, that's a mouthful for anybody, but particularly for a young child. And living in the desert, the Mojave Desert. Well, Sean comes here from the desert.
Brim.
You see things. Things are shimmery, you know. Things shine a lot in the desert. And so you're kind of used to that. But to have something manifested like Ma did was incredible. And as I got older, I started investigating and found out that my spirit guide had been around, and he was a son of Jacob. And I said, well, that put you Adam's great-grandson. And he said, I'm more proud of being Methuselah's grandfather. Now there was a character. I never think of biblical beings as characters, but according to Ma, that was one. Well, Methuselah certainly lived long enough. I'm glad he was a character. That's kind of fun. Well, getting in touch with your spirit guide, what does it do for you? It helps you feel like you're not alone. I don't know how many of you live alone, but there's times that the loneliness sets in. You're never alone. Not only do you have Creator in your life, but you also have a guide. And if you haven't gotten in touch with your spirit guide, there's ways to go online, and you can. And in fact, I printed out something that is called Getting in Touch with High-Level Spirit Guides. And if any of you want it, let me know, and I'll email it to you. And it gives you 10 ways that you can not only get in touch with your spirit guide, you can make sure you're not connecting with something that's negative. Because quite often people get very scared. Well, what if I open myself up, and when the doors open, something negative comes in? You can protect yourself. Remember, we're not here alone. And start finding different ways. Get in touch with your guide so it can help for you. Because when you do, you not only don't feel alone as much, but you also have a sense of you as a part of the whole. Many times people say, I feel all alone. You've got millions of souls around you. Millions. And sometimes you want to feel them, and sometimes you don't. But realize you are not alone. Now, Sean, when you're working with people's guides, what do you find is the most important thing for them to get in touch with?
Well, I always say that your spirit guide is, well, there are those that you're born with, and it's not just one. One
Right.
holds the divine feminine principle and one holds the divine masculine principle. So everyone's born with two spirit helpers. Spirit guides can actually come from your ancestry, but they can also just be overall helpers on the planet to try and help humanity evolve. So I always say, if you want to get in touch with the spirit guide, be a friend to them. Contact them, find out what it is that they would like from you to establish that relationship. It's like any friendship, you have to reinvigorate it. When you make a friend, you call them, you find out how they're doing, you offer your service or help when they need it. Spirit guides are the same, because they're looking to evolve as well. They're not hired policemen. They're not doctors. They're actually spiritual beings that are on their own evolutionary path. And they fulfill their path by helping you. So if you're not establishing a significant relationship with them, then chances are that they're going to go somewhere else, because why hang out with you? So now those that are born with you, that's different.
Right.
They have a contract with you, so they're not going to go anywhere. But they can't ignore you. If you're being naughty, they might not hang around so much, because it's dangerous for them. If you're going into dark places, hanging out with dark people, the spirit guide, they're not impervious to that, because those people are also working with darker spirits as well, and your spirit guides may not want to hang around there. So part of it is your responsibility, and also part of it is your responsibility to ask for help, because we have free will. And so if you're not actually asking for help, they're not going to just intervene on your behalf for no reason, because that would be outside of the contract. So those are a couple of the things that I would say that are important.
And do you help people find their spirit guide if they're having difficulty doing that?
Oh yeah, I mean, so on livingasacredlife.com, that whole thing came about because I was teaching that course on how to contact your spirit guides and how to establish a relationship with them for a lot of different reasons. And so that is an online course that sits there. Now I help people usually individually, but that's what this new Building a Sacred Life group is going to be about. It's about establishing a relationship with your spirit guides and utilizing them in particular areas of your life.
Fantastic, yeah.
And how do they get in contact with you again?
Going to livingasacredlife.com is the easiest thing, or bluebearhealing.com.
Oh, that's a blue bear. It sounds like blueberry.
Yeah, it does sound like blueberry, I know, but it's actually blue bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my email address is Sean at either one of those. So if you wanted to contact me. Mhm.
Good.
Yeah, and then we, what I do is, my guide is a warrior guide. And so when we go into dark places, because I work with clients, and so then, they're always called upon. I start calling on my guide to help me with clients before I even get there. As soon as I know that I'm going to be working with somebody, I start, telling them we need to get ready for this. And so so they're there, and the Archangel Michael and his warrior band of angels show up. So you can get the help you ask for.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, I whenever I do healing work with somebody, I also call on protection, not from outside forces or evil presences, but simply just to make sure that my energy is not leaking over onto the person that I'm doing work for, and their energy is not leaking over onto me.
Oh, so important.
Making a
Yeah.
clear separation between those things, and that's what another one. The spirit guide does that work for me.
So important. You're absolutely right.
Right.
And right.
Yes.
Very good, you two.
Right.
And you might want to look some things up. I mean, there's so much history about spirit guides, as I mentioned, in all these different religions, and I was amazed that starting out with the ancient Egyptians, and they very much started talking about the concept of Ka and the concept of having a spiritual double, is what they called it, your spiritual double. In other words, you're here and they're there. And I had never heard that term before until I was looking it up. And so your guide sometimes doubles for you on the other plane, which I thought was interesting. And so something you can think about. And in Hinduism, they believe in all sorts of deities. And they also believe that of ancestors and ascended masters and all that. And they believe that you have a guru that is here and on the other side. And so we have that. And Buddhism, of course, has spirit guides. And they talk about, they're the ones that help you find enlightenment. I like that aspect. So Christianity doesn't really have a formal belief in spirit guides, but they talk about a lot about angelic helpers, which to me is pretty much the same thing. So when you're reading, if you're reading the Bible, look at it from that. When they talk about whether it's Gabriel or Gabriel, whatever, whoever they're talking about as a guide, think of that. That's what they're talking about. Now, why am I so excited about spirit guides? Spiritualism is what our church is based on, and so that's what spirit is the UCM. We kind of take it more into what Sean does, and what Corky does, and what our wonderful Jan does, is letting people hear more about their spirit, and not just say we're spiritualists. We are also individual seekers who are using our guidance to help us find our path. And it's so rewarding to know that you have a being, a spiritual being, that you can lean on. That you can say, hey, I'm here, and I'll call Ma and say, Ma, what do I do about this? And he always gives me wonderful information. And sometimes I just don't want to hear it. I don't know if anybody else has ever had that. You go, oh, I won't even tell you what I sometimes say to Mom. I'm really angry and I'm really upset, and I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. And he says, Dottie, love is the answer. I didn't ask that, Ma. I want you to be behind me on this. No.
Love is the answer. It's the right answer.
Love is the answer. And so it's nice to have a being that you can kind of yell at and you're still there. It's unlike maybe a roommate or something, but it's very comforting. And then we're like Sean was talking about, we have ancestral spirits too. There's beings that come through And I don't know how many of you have had a parent or a close family member who has passed on, and yet you can feel their spirit. And I'm finding that so much in the readings I've been doing in the last couple of months, that people come in to talk to a mom or a dad or quite often a spouse that's on the other side that they're interested in, make sure they're okay. And I really haven't found anybody on the other side that's in dire straits. They nearly always are pretty good. Sean's got a little smile on his face. Have you located some on the other side that were having problems?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, when you cross over from being physical to non-physical, first of all, that doesn't make you suddenly spiritual. So just because that person's crossed over doesn't mean that they're going to have all the answers. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
Some people have this sense that no.
Right.
But, you know, the predicament that humanity's in right now is most often because we have generation after generation of having made poor mistakes. And so in our ancestral lineages, we often have a lot of beings that were coming in to be physical and not really doing what their soul's intention was for that lifetime. And sometimes in our lineage, could go back hundreds or even thousands of years, we do have that one person that reached a state of enlightenment, or at least evolved beyond what their soul's intention was for that lifetime. That's the ancestor you want to connect with.
Right.
You don't, just because someone's 400 years old.
Just because they're dead doesn't mean they're great.
The other thing I think I find really interesting is that, you know, I look at like we are our ancestors. So it's actually every person's responsibility to find out what the ancestral lineage's intention was, and then to bring about that evolutionary state for your ancestors, because your healing works in reverse. When you heal, when you evolve, your ancestral lineage also evolves.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of our responsibility to be doing these type of evolutionary endeavors so that we heal our ancestral lines.
So not, it doesn't flow down, it also goes back up.
Exactly. So, you know, I look at it like this, being human is a group effort. We all evolved together. You know, that's a very, it's a principle of Buddhism as well, is that there's one consciousness and that whole consciousness needs to evolve. So, although we have a sense of self, an egoic self, it's really about the group, it's really about the collective. So, healing our ancestors is necessary for everyone to heal. Mm-hmm. So, it's taking responsibility for your own stuff is actually a humanitarian thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I love that. It makes it richer. Mm-hmm. You know, when you realize you're not in this all alone. Not only do you have spirit guides, but you have ancestral energies that are coming through. And sometimes that's difficult to be able to let it go if it's negative. Sometimes it feels like your ancestors had a problem with something and everybody did, like alcoholism. When it runs in ancestors or addictions of any kind, and when you realize that you can stop it here, and it helps support all the ancestors, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I was thinking when you were saying that, like, what's old is new again.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't just take on addiction or things like that in this lifetime.
Right.
It all flows downhill to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's our responsibility to correct it.
Saying is that there's nothing new under the sun, everything is done and redone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was doing reading on a gentleman that, and he said to me, well, you know, I must be Native American because I have trouble with alcohol. And I said, no, you're Irish. And he said, how did you know? And he said, we always are kind of throwing the poor indigenous people under the bus because there's an alcoholic gene that they carry that we haven't quite yet figured it out. But the Irish have the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at this man with sandy hair and blue eyes. And you could see this was a whole new idea. Mm. He had always, as I said, well, that's because And I said, did you ever find any Native American energy in your DNA? He said, well, no, but I thought they were lying. That's when you really have taken a left turn, you know. So, but we always want to look at other people as that's where I got it from, instead of this is where it stops now. And I think that's what's so great about finding out about spirit guides and ancestral guides and those beings that have gone on is, oh, I can help them move forward. I can help them.
So it's by being in the present, we actually heal the past and the future.
Yes, it's very well.
You know,
very
unto
well
what,
said.
the 10th generation or the 7th generation.
7th generation.
Right, right.
Yeah.
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 So it goes backwards and forwards.
That's great. I love it. And one of the things too, with healing, and Sean, and maybe Janet or Corky or Ed or anybody else here, or Laura, has something to say about this. But when we start to help heal ourselves and our spiritual past, what are the tools that we use? How do we do that?
Chocolate.
Ice cream.
YouTube videos.
Ed added YouTube videos.
Absolutely, I do that.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, a gift that's been given to me is some free therapy.
Wow.
And I have learned a lot about myself and my internal family through that therapy.
Wonderful.
Right, so it's like exploring all of the aspects of myself
Mm-hmm.
and allowing it to come forth and allowing me to pay honor and listen to all of the parts.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just saying, well, you're not good, so I'm not going to pay attention to you. I'm going to pay attention because all of it is for my betterment,
Right.
for my survival.
Exactly.
And so really taking a look at that and exploring that and making friends. And I'm just going to go back to what you said, Sean. We have to make friends. I mean, I feel like I have to make friends with all of the parts of me,
Right.
you know, and not disavow any part. But let's bring it into the circle. Let's bring it into the community. And let's bring healing to all the parts.
And sometimes it's difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're talking love to somebody who's responding with hate, sometimes that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And because they don't want to hear anything but that rhetoric.
Right.
And they're not open. Now, what do you suggest you do when people are just not open to hear anything except anger, frustration, and hate? Any idea how you deal with that so you don't just dismiss them?
Well, you don't go there yourself.
Right.
That's the main thing. There's a principle that, you probably heard Einstein's quote that, the answer to the problem is not at the level that created the problem. The answer is always a level above.
Mm-hmm.
So, evaluating the situation and then asking for guidance to help you go to that level above to see that the answer is always outside somewhere. You can't fix it with the tools that caused the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
And not to sound like a hammer looking for a nail, but hypnosis is, hypnosis is
Yes.
a darn good way to get in touch with your past lives and your past experiences. And and you can, it's just, when I first learned hypnosis, it was like, I don't see why everybody doesn't do this. This is the answer. I mean, if you've got a problem, you can fix it. If you don't have a problem, you can still fix it. If you want to do it, you can. If you don't want to do it, you can't. So it's hypnosis is such a great tool, and I just wish everybody could either, could do it for themselves, and you can. I mean, somebody should teach a self-hypnosis class.
Yay!
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, you walked into that one, didn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, go, Reverend Corky.
That was an open door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun.
See, maybe somebody
It's fun
will.
watching you build that door, Corky.
Woohoo! Okay.
Now we've talked about all these good spirits. What happens when you encounter a negative spirit?
I know.
Sean, I'm sure because you work with so many different spirits. What happens if a negative spirit just really appears in front of you? What do you do?
Well, to be honest, in my way of looking at things, there's no intrinsic evil.
Right.
there is only a lower, more collapsed vibration, and there's a greater, more expanding vibration. So, compassion is always the answer. Love is always the answer. If somebody has, done something to send you a negative spirit, to impact you negatively in some way, or if you're running into something somewhere, again, going one level above that and not lowering your vibration and being in fear of that thing, because you cannot resist something if you're coming at it with the same vibration that they're coming at you with. You have to go one level above. So you tune into your increased, what I call essential nature. Your essential nature is goodness, creativity, love. Go to that place and you can deal with absolutely anything. But that's, I say that, like, it's not that easy, right? You have to practice at it. You have to learn compassion, and to me, the greatest tool is forgiveness. Because if you are putting yourself into a state of victimhood, you can never raise your vibration. So you have to go to the place of forgiveness and forgive those that have trespassed against you. That helps you raise your vibration. That's one of the most important tools, in my opinion.
Right.
That's why we yammer about that so much. I mean, Dottie's always talking about forgiveness. Don't go there. Love is the answer. And every once in a while she says, "Do you think I'm just talking too much about the same thing?"
No.
Well, no, because not obviously we don't have it yet. And we would be all saying, "That's okay, Dottie, we forgive you."
Forgive me for being nice. Sometimes people say, "Are you always nice?" Like it's a bad thing, Well, I try, But folks, it's going to get worse. I'm just saying there's so much negativity being thrown into the atmosphere that you might feel like you're, fighting the storm. Don't feel like you're just fighting it. Feel like you're building a resistance to the storm, and that resistance is love. And you have to put it in. Now, what other tools do we have to build our love up and resist all this overwhelming negativity that seems to be trying to come in?
Brownies. Chocolate brownies.
Yeah, you're back to chocolate again.
Zoom videos.
And I'm going to go right back to being forgiving of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
this is
tool is remembering to grant people grace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
What if
People are speaking their mind and they're so busy venting because they're so full of emotion. Sometimes if you just give them a little grace so that they can get rid of some of that pressure, and then you can remind them about love and compassion, and they're able to hear you.
Right. Yeah.
I always say that people are always doing the best they can do with what they have to work with.
That's right.
Nobody sets out to purposefully do a bad job.
Right.
It's not in us, actually. We're all created from the creative force of the universe. That God, whatever you want to call it, runs through every being. And every being has an intrinsic nature to want to improve and be better. Just because somebody's doing something that you don't agree with doesn't make them bad.
That's a very hard one because I am running into so many people who come to me for readings that have been sexually molested. I had a reading with a young lady that had been sexually molested when she was 3. And because of this physical attack, her whole body was thrown in complete difficulty for the rest of her life. And then she felt guilty because the perpetrator was put in jail and died in jail. So she had this horror, and then she felt guilty, and you look at that and you go, where's the love in that man? How do we see the love in him? If she could do that, it would help her.
The thing is why would that person do that to another person, thinking that was the best that they could possibly accomplish? See, and that's the thing. It just gets really sticky, but nobody purposefully does anything to make themselves worse. Right. For some reason, that mindset that went into that perpetration was done thinking that that was the best that they could possibly accomplish for themselves because they're hurting deeply inside for whatever reason. We don't know what that reason is. But you know, two things, there are two sayings that come to my mind. One was a book What's in the Way is the Way.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Wow.
So it's really difficult to think like, okay, wait a minute, this horrible thing happened to me, and to try and flip that over, okay, there's a learning opportunity here. There's a shadow that needed to emerge into the light. What is it? So you look for the resolution, you look for the healing, you don't fall back into the victimhood, because that's a trap. Once you spiral down into that victimhood,
Right.
you could stew in that forever.
Yes, yes.
So the question is, okay, how do I bring healing to this?
Mm-hmm.
How do I, where's the love that I need to bring out and manifest toward that person so that I can actually bring an end to that victim-perpetrator relationship? Because that's what needs to end.
Mm-hmm.
You need to come
and
into being
This is where a
empowered.
professional therapist can really help someone go through that more.
But a lot of, I agree with you, Gail, but there's a lot of professional therapists who are book learned, not spiritual learned.
Exactly.
And that becomes difficult.
And that's
I
the
agree.
power. That is the power of UCM.
Right.
Right there. That's the power of UCM, because we're going to give you that emotional learning, but also the spiritual learning. So we braid it together. Right?
And that spiritual,
why-
in that, like Sean is
Absolutely.
talking about, that's a
Precisely.
spiritual thing.
And that's
Yeah.
what we can do for each other as community too. Because when we run across a situation that's difficult, I know you've come to me, Dottie, and I've come to you when we've had a difficult client or group to deal with. And, you know, I've come from one angle, which is grief counseling, critical incident stress management. You've come at it from another angle, from the spiritual angle. And so it takes all of us to heal all of us, right? But I so agree with you, you know, Gail, what you're talking about in terms of reaching out for support beyond ourselves, beyond our own capacity, because sometimes that's just too difficult to do. And so this woman that reached out to you for a reading was reaching out, and you gave her the gift.
Right.
that spiritual
But this was
connection.
just, you know, one of those things where you go, it keeps getting worse, because her mother was complicit in this.
Yeah.
They locked her in a room and raised all the other kids, and she was just there for as a sexual object. Which then takes, as a mother, it hits you at a place of, how could, you know? And even though I did a reading on this woman years ago, I'll never forget the pain. And we tried working on it and bringing in spirit, and she just was very, very sure that he was wrong, and there's nothing there. Forgiveness was not there. She didn't even see a flicker of forgiveness. It was very, very difficult.
I actually, I have a workshop called Compassionate Forgiveness. You could take it online. It's on livingasacredlife.com, but you know, if anybody asked, I would be willing to do that whole workshop, because it's really just doing nothing but working
That's
on
it.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important. Actually, years and years ago, I went on a vision quest, which is you fast from food and water for 4 days, and you go up into the mountains somewhere, and somebody builds a fire for you to hold that connection to spirit for you. And that message came through so strongly that forgiveness was a foundation on which everybody needs to build their spiritual platform. And it took me years to actually develop the course that I put together, but I'm going to be teaching it again soon with my Building a Sacred Life group, because I really truly believe it is the foundation.
Now, do you do these on Zoom or something when you do the class?
It'll be on Zoom.
Yeah, let us know. Let our
Okay.
group know, because that sounds like something we all need to take, especially when things are all up in the air with the wars and the politics, all this other stuff that's bombarding the atmosphere. We need to find that way to forgive beings. It's really important. Now,
So, Dottie?
yes.
Let me just swing the camera. I've got a little bit of a different that came later in life.
Okay.
On forgiveness. And it's, let me get myself on camera here. Here we go. There we are.
There's the face
other man.
behind
The wizard.
camera, the
Magic.
wizard, yes.
Behind the
Today it
curtain.
was more lizard than wizard.
At least it's not gizzard.
What I found is when I mute Windows, it mutes Zoom.
Oh,
Perfect. When I unmute Windows, Zoom stayed. That's why I couldn't hear their audio.
oh
Took a
wow.
while.
Got it.
There's another concept on the word wisdom. It's never about the other person.
Right.
And that kind of sounds strange, but really, forgiveness is what you do for yourself on judging someone.
That's right.
You don't, when you say, can you forgive that person? It's really that person, can you forgive yourself for getting caught up? And the one teacher mentioned, Ed, that person probably has no clue. They moved on in their life. And what happened, as in the case of your client, I mean, horrific. I'm not minimizing
Right.
it. But one of the designs of the human vehicle is to give us feedback. It's just like when I was growing up. A lot of the guys were getting ulcers, and they were normally executives and like that. I mean, an ulcer says you have worry. And so this thing is, I can't forgive him. And there's no wonder that she probably can't, her body can't heal. The vibration is too low, the frequency, and the energy that the body would innately use to heal itself is not available. Because part of the option of our energy that we claim as ours is to use it as we will. So I experimented with this on little baby things, and damn, it seemed right when I just realized exactly what you said, Sean. They are doing the best they can, and the only thing I could do for them is isolate myself out of their space, if that's what I took, if that's what it took for me. But really, a lot of times when a person is that wound up to do X, Y, Z, they can't hear. And if I try and dissect it like guys do, I just want them to change, and I want to. It's so obvious that's not going to work, because now they're defending themselves more. And what I found a couple times that it worked, thanks to whoever coming through me to facilitate, they need to feel love.
That's it.
Less words, more love.
That's right.
And it may not change in front of me, but in the long run, when I walk away, my energy comes up, because I'm realizing it's just phosphors on the back of my retina. Or it's pain in my body. It's very real. But if I want to heal the body, or allow the body to heal itself, I've got to free the energy up. And it can't be lower than the minimum level of frequency the body needs to heal. So it's not a surprise. That's a wonderful story. I'll come to you, Corky. I hope someday that she could maybe take another look at forgiveness. It's not for the other person. It's not for that man that had outrageous, damaging behavior. It's for herself.
Right.
To put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's always for yourself, but because you're the only one that you have any control over. But I was wondering if I could read the different, because people have been saying things
Okay.
for the last little while.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Milan said love is the answer. Tiffany said yes. Milan, I agree. Then Tiffany said gratitude as well. And Joan says and patience. My mom came to me in spirit and said, I wish I'd come sooner. This is so nice. And Evers is have a great week, everyone. My dad is calling, so need to run. Then Joan says, have a beautiful day, Evers. And then Sky says, today has been an interesting conversation. Thank you, everyone, sharing, and I love you, Mama Boone. And then Patty and Joyce are wonderful service. We love the meditation, the music, the great talk. Our day has been blessed with spiritual upliftment. Thank you.
Okay,
Beautiful.
I notice on the floor here a bunch of rattles. And I was wondering if, Sean, if you could play something that we could
Rattle to?
could rattle to. Laura, could you, or Jen is up already before you are? And so if we could just do something here, participatory, And so for those
That's
of you
what
that
I
are
said.
watching, why don't you clap along with us as we're going to rattle. And Sean, I don't know whether you want to drum and sing or play the guitar and sing. Sean, what would you like to do?
What would you like? All right.
Stick, slam, unroll. And now we have to leave. Thank you so much. The great talk and meditation and conversation. Love you all.
There's a song that we sing in Peruvian shamanism
Let's get your beat.
to honor Mother Earth and all the mountain spirits. So it goes to Pachamama Muraya Kuru Mai Sita Kaya Sisai Puntai Mai Re Re Hey Hey Kaire Puntai Mai Re Re Asangate Muraya Kumu Paisita Kaya Sisai Puntai Mai Re Re Hey Hey Kaire Puntai Mai Re Re Koyariti Muraya Kumu Paisita Kaya Sisai Puntai Mai Re Re Hey Hey Kaire Puntai Mai Re Re Waskara Muraya Kumu Paisita Kaya Sisai Puntai Mai Re Re Hey Hey Kaire Puntai Mai Re Re
Yay! Aho! Very, very good. Thank you so very much, Sean. Thank you, Janet. And Ed, it was so nice to have you saying something today. We really do appreciate it. Corky, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's so wonderful to hear from these spiritual beings talking about their spiritual connections. We want to have you come back and see us again. Right now, we're going to pass the
here, Mom.
basket. So where'd the basket go, Janet?
Right there.
I put my talk in the
There we
basket.
go.
Here we go.
Here's the
And
basket.
so, for those of you that are watching, this is a time when you can decide to use PayPal and send some donations. We really do appreciate it when we get it, so thank you so very much. The other thing is, we're going to be here next week, and let us know what topic you'd like to hear about. We're here to help you, and if you're going through some rough time, I'm sure other people are. If you're having something that's so joyful you want to share it, please, at safedotty@aol.com, send me what you would like to hear us talk about. This became kind of a round-robin forum, which I love the feeling of. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, all of you people that were doing this. This is a unique way to do a church service, but it was all based on spirit.
That's right.
And Songbird has her hand up.
Who does?
Songbird, are you still there? You want to speak? Come forth.
Unmute.
Speak.
Unmute.
Who are we talking to?
Songbird.
Songbird.
I have to go.
Okay, don't know where she went, but
Oh, hi there. Here I am.
thank
Okay.
you.
I don't know if I did my video. I just had a comment back on what everybody was sharing. I have, a spiritual brother who was helping a woman heal from being raped, just like in an intersection, and he said that the energies of the person had to be cleaned out of her body for her to heal.
Mm.
So basically the men did a lollipon for this woman, and she wasn't able to heal until the energies, because sex is so, people's soul, it's a soul level thing that happens. It's very deep, and so, maybe that needs to come into the medicine as well, in addition to compassion and forgiveness.
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing. I think
Yeah.
there's so many issues that people are dealing with that are multifaceted. We're not saying get in touch with your spirit guide and you can share, you can clear the world of all negativity, but it's your steps that you can take When you start letting the spiritual energy flow through you, you stop being so judgmental, angry, frustrated. It helps you calm down, and when you calm down, it can start working just like a pebble in a river or lake, and it can start spreading. So think of what you can do to spiritually calm your life down to help everybody else, and it works. One person at a time, but it's the way to start. We want to thank you very much for joining us today. It's been wonderful. We're here every Sunday, and so stay tuned. In October, we're going to be gone because my son is getting married in Oceanside. So we're going to talk to some people up here to do it. And right now I'm looking at Reverend Janet Childs. See what we can arrange for the Zoom for CCL Church. And talk to you later. And I want you all to visualize you getting a hug. Just close your eyes. I'm hugging you. Sean, are you hugging people?
Yes.
Janet, are you hugging people?
Absolutely.
Laura, Ed,
We're
Corky,
hugging.
you're getting
We're
all of
hugging.
this.
All right.
Remember, you got 6 hugs this morning from
That's right.
spiritual beings sending love and energy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Dottie.
Love to you.
Love to you.
Dottie,
Yes,
people are asking where to send donations on PayPal.
it's to safedotty@aol.com.
You log into or you can go to the website, the Center for Creative Living-UCM.org, or you can go just to PayPal and put in her email. That's
And all donations go to the church.
safedotty@aol.com, and then remember to say send to friend, or if you go through the website, it should send it directly to donations.
Okay, and thank you to Janet for bringing the rattles and for the guitar, and Sean for the guitar and drum, and rattle. Really multifaceted musician. We appreciate it, and of course, both of your voices are wonderful. Also, thank you so much for joining us. Bye now. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Love you.
Love
Bye.
Love you.
Oh, the balloons! You guys have balloons.
Oh, that's adorable. That was cool.
Okay,
That was
everybody.
cool.
Buenas noches.
All righty.
Okay.
I'm walking out the door.